All hail a beard, it's your boy Big Beard B, and we back for another edition of Big Beard Business. In today's video, we are back with a fragrance review, and this fragrance is one that you did not know you needed until it came out. And the fragrance that I'm talking about comes from Armani, and this one is Stronger With You Freeze. Now, Stronger With You Freeze is the third installment of the Stronger With You series. As we saw the original, the OG Stronger With You, then we got Stronger With You Intensely, and now we have Stronger With You Freeze. And I also believe they're coming out with a different one at this stage of the game. Now, this is the fragrance to me that I did not know I needed until I actually heard about it. It was intriguing, and once I got this thing in hand, I was like, yes, this thing was done right. Now, as I think back to some of the original fragrances within this lineup, the Stronger With Yous, the Stronger With You Intensely, those fragrances to me were really powerhouse fragrances for the fall and winter time. In fact, I looked at Stronger With You, the original, as the one for fall. Stronger With You Intensely is the more intense version, a bit more potent and prime for those cool, colder, harsher weather that you would get in the winter. And then this one here is a good transitional fragrance from spring to fall, in my personal opinion. Now, the presentation for Stronger With You Freeze pretty much mirrors, it does not matter. Fuck the box. Okay, yes, just do it. All right, the presentation pretty much mirrors all of the others. You have a very similar gray box. The lines on the bottles are the same, or the box is the same. But with Freeze, you get this frosted type of bottle. It's definitely see-through, and you see Stronger With You Freeze. The juice in this one looks a bit lighter, has this cognac look to it, which makes me intrigued, although I do know what this thing smells like at this point, because I'm doing a review. But I digress. In the top of this fragrance, you're going to get some lime, some ginger, some mandarin, and some apple. In the mid of this fragrance, we have some lavender, some sage, some bourbon, some geranium, and some cardamom. And then in the base of this fragrance, we have some amber, some gaiac wood, and some bourbon vanilla. All right, this thing here is super nice, in my personal opinion. One of the things about this fragrance that I think is enjoyable is the freshness on the opening of this scent. This one is a bit different, as if you have experienced the Stronger With You or Stronger With You Intensely, you begin to think of something that is this darker sweetness, very synthetic sweetness there. So don't grab this fragrance thinking you're going to get something groundbreaking, revolutionary in terms of the way it smells. It's extremely synthetic, but it works. And I don't really care if it's synthetic, all right? I think in most cases, a lot of these fragrances really come out well, and that's really all I'm concerned about, right? Is the fragrance smelling nice? Is it projecting? Is it performing as expected? And I think that this one does here. So I talked about those fruity notes in the top of this one here, and you get something that is fresh, it's vibrant, it's lively, and that is a huge addition to this lineup in my personal opinion. Now, as you would expect with the name like Stronger With You Freeze, this one has some throwback and some nuances to the original two fragrances, but this one takes on a life of its own with that additional freshness. Again, I said this is a fragrance that you did not know we actually needed until it came out. So I'm happy they actually did it, because I would have been content without it, but now that I have it, it's like, what? It's kind of like AC, okay? People say all the time about things to me. I say, you never knew you needed AC until you had AC. Well, I've always had AC. But you know what I mean, okay? You see where I'm going with this thing here. But back to this fragrance here, okay? So there's a semi sweetness in here, but it's very synthetic. But again, you can get past that. The freshness is there. It makes this fragrance feel lively, but that sweetness within this fragrance comes throughout the entire life of the scent, which I find to be enjoyable. One of the things that I do appreciate about Stronger With You Freeze is the fact that although this one is a fresher take on a fragrance, they did not skimp out in performance, longevity. You still get those things within this scent, and one of the more important things, at least to me, is you still get the compliment factor is there. All right, so even though the freshness kind of changes the composition a bit, you get a fragrance that is still sensual. It's still good for those closer, more intimate situation, close encounters, and this fragrance is going to be stronger on your skin. All right, this thing is one that I am super excited to have within the collection here. Now, it's really difficult. It was difficult for me to make my fall designer list because I'm so used to putting in the original Stronger With You, and it was hard for me to pull that one out to put this one in because it was such a battle between the two. Do I feel like you need all three within the collection? Maybe. Maybe not. As I said, like, this is the fragrance that you did not feel you needed it until you actually got your nose on it, right? So if you do not get your nose on this one, then it's not going to kill you, right? If you get your nose on this thing, then it's maybe one like, you know what, I could find a special situation to wear this fragrance in, and it's worth the purchase. Now, one of the things I will tell you about this fragrance, because I know that when I talk about the bourbon vanilla in this thing, a lot of you out there are going to think, hey, oh, we got some boozy notes in this fragrance, and to me this one doesn't come off boozy at all. When I think of boozy fragrances, I think back to fragrances from the House of Killian and others that are out there who've done boozy notes well. Don't expect anything in here that's going to be super boozy or realistic or natural. As I've already stated, this one is a very synthetic scent, but it works all in all. Bottle on this fragrance looks nice. The fragrance is good. It's uplifting, it's sensual, and one that you know, again, if you're looking for a transitional stage scent from those cooler spring days into that before we begin to get into super cold fall days, then this one is one that can work for you. Close encounter situation, good to work in again, and they did not skimp on the performance with this scent. A lot of times when you begin to get that fresh or that lighter version, a lot of take on these scents, and you can lose some of the performance aspect here, but I think that everything is still retained here. In terms of sprays, still my usual 3 to 7 sprays on this one. I think that this one can be high in compliment factor depending on where you are, but we'll say moderate for the masses. All right, I think that if you're out and about, this fragrance can garner you some compliments, but I don't think that this one is a head turner. All right, but this one is definitely a safe fragrance to wear if you want to be around people. You want a fragrance that's going to be enjoyable, something that you could garner compliments with. I think that this is the fragrance to do it, but I don't think this one is going to reach out and touch somebody like that, like reach out and touch you. It's not going to do that, all right? But if you're standing side by side with someone and get a whiff of it, or you're sitting next to someone that they get the smell in it, then it's definitely going to spark some conversation like, hey, what do you have on? You smell nice, and you begin to proceed from there. All in all, I like this fragrance, all right? This is one that, again, I've recommended for the fall designer list for a reason, and I'm talking about this one in this review as such because this thing is nice and enjoyable. If you can get past the fake sweetness here, or the synthetic, I mean, it's not fake sweet, it's definitely sweet. Not as sweet as the original and nowhere near close to intensely. This one is more fresh than sweet. If you can get past that synthetic notes or the synthetic vibe of this fragrance, I think this is one that you will enjoy. That's my take on this fragrance. I think this one is one that is needed. Now that I've gotten my nose on it, I can find a number of places to wear this fragrance, and because of that, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. That's my take on this fragrance. I would love to know your take on this fragrance. If you have it in your collection or you're looking for, I'm going to try to find a place to purchase it below, because when I talked about this one in the fall designer list for 2020, if you haven't checked that video out, make sure you do that. Some of you did not know where to purchase it, and I'll try to find it. I know it's not readily available at all stores here in the US, but I'll go through and try to find some places for you to purchase it. That way you can purchase it if you want to. So that's my take on this fragrance, one that I enjoy. I'm happy that you got to experience this fragrance with me. Thank you for choosing to watch this video. As always, I'm your boy, Big Beard B. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend that we are back again. And you already know what I need you to do. Hit the goddamn bell.